Hello everybody, my name is Sankara, and today I'm going to teach you how to duel. That's right, ladies and gentlemen, today I'm starting the new How to Play Yu-Gi-Oh! Series. If you ever wanted to know how to play Yu-Gi-Oh! Because I play it quite often on the channel, and you might be left a bit confused, or you might be new to the channel and just want to know how to play. So I'm going to make this series as simple as possible to understand, with a few short videos explaining everything that you need to know to understand how to play the Yu-Gi-Oh! Card game. So get out your decks, get out your cards, and let's get started. In order to understand how to play the game of Yu-Gi-Oh! You must first learn about the different types of cards and how to, well, read the cards. So the basic types of cards that you have are monsters, spells, and traps. These are usually pretty distinguishable by their color. Spells will be green, traps will be a pinkish purple, and monsters have a few different colors depending on the type of monster that they are. At the top of the card, you have the card's name. And at the bottom, just below the picture, you have what exactly the card does. Now, for monsters, spells, and traps, there are also other different things depending on what type of card it is. So we're going to start off with the monsters. Your monsters can be split into two main categories. You got your main deck monsters and your extra deck monsters. Your main deck monsters are normal monsters, effect monsters, ritual monsters, and pendulum monsters. And for the extra deck monsters, you have fusion, synchro, Xyz, and link. Today we'll just be focusing on normal and effect monsters. So effect monsters are distinguished by this brown coloring. At the top of the monster you have the card's name. Right next to that you have its attribute, which will be earth, wind, fire, water, light, dark, or divine. Right below the name you'll have up to 12 stars. The number of stars on a monster card indicates the monster's level. Just below the picture you have its description box. So the first line in the square brackets will tell you the monster's type, as well as what type of monster it is, i.e. normal or effect. Right below that, you have the monster's effect. This tells you what the monster does. Monster effects can only activate while the monster is on the field unless otherwise specified by the effect. Just below the effect, you have the monster's attack points and the monster's defense points. These are used when battling. That's all you need to know for effect monsters. Next is normal monsters, which is distinguished by their yellowish coloring. The only difference between an effect monster and a normal monster is that a normal monster doesn't actually have an effect. That means it has no effect that can activate. It does, however, have a description of the monster, which is normally a cool little story telling you about what the monster is, but this has no actual impact on the gameplay itself. So that covers the monsters. Next up, the spells. Spell cards are easily distinguished by their green coloring. Spells are easily distinguished by their green coloring, and the fact that it says spell card just under the name. Much like monster cards, this has a name, a type, and an effect. Spells can be activated by placing them face up on the field and then resolving what their effect says. You have several different types of spell cards. The type of spell that it is determined by the symbol that is just below the name next to where it says spell card. First you have normal spells. Normal spells have no symbol on them. When a normal spell is activated, its effect resolves and then it goes straight to the graveyard. Next is continuous spells. Continuous spells are distinguished by the infinity symbol next to where it says spell card. When continuous spells are activated, you resolve their effect and then the card stays on the field until it's removed by a card effect. These cards usually have an effect that can activate once per turn. Next is equip spells. Equip spells are determined by the plus symbol. These cards get equipped to a monster on the field. When you activate an equip spell, you target a monster and it becomes equipped to that monster. The effect of an equip spell will usually affect the equipped monster, i.e. the monster gains a certain amount of attack points. These cards then stay on the field until either they're removed by a card effect or the monster that they're equipped to is removed from the field. Next is quick play spells. Quick play spells are distinguished by the lightning symbol. A quick spell acts like a normal spell, except it can be activated during any time during the turn, whereas normal spells can only be activated at certain times, and they can also be set face down and used like a trap card on your opponent's turn. Next up is field spells. Field spells have this little shuriken or pointed plus symbol. These cards go in the field spells card zone, which is specifically for field spells, and then they stay on the field until they're removed by a card effect or you activate another field spell card. Finally, you have ritual spells. Ritual spells have a fiery symbol and are used to ritual summon ritual monsters. Alright, that's all for the spell cards. Pretty simple. You're with me so far? Finally, what we've got are trap cards. Trap cards are pretty simple. Trap cards have to be placed face down first before you can activate them. And you can't activate them on the turn that you put them face down, but you can activate them on either player's turn. There are 3 types of trap cards. First is normal trap cards, which has no symbol. When these cards are activated, they resolve their effect and go to the graveyard. Next you have continuous traps. Much like continuous spells, these traps are determined by the infinity symbol, and once activated, they stay on the field until they're removed by a card effect. Finally, you have counter traps. Normally in the game of Yu-Gi-Oh, when a card or effect is activated, you can activate a trap card in response to that card's effect. In the case of counter trap cards, you can only activate another counter trap card in response to its effect. This will become a little more simpler to explain later on when I tell you how to play the game. So, that's all the basic stuff that you need to know about the cards in Yu-Gi-Oh! There are more types of monsters, but we'll cover those in a future video. In the next video coming out on Thursday, I will explain how to actually play the game using these cards. But until then, rewatch this video a couple times to make sure that you know what each of the different types of cards are. And if you have a friend that you want to duel with, then be sure to share this video with them and subscribe and hit the bell icon to be notified of when the next video in this series comes out if you're enjoying it so far. I hope this video was useful to you and that you enjoyed it. If you did, be sure to give it a like and comment down below. And subscribe and hit the bell icon for more videos just like this. Thank you all so much for watching. As always, my name has been Sankara, and until next time, see ya!